In a world where everything is flat and IT education is a must, Thomas Friedman is president and Dr. Patrick Dixon is VP.
As a foreign affairs columnist and a former international economics correspondent, I've spent years thinking and writing about globalization.
Hi, how are you?
But I've never seen anything like India today. It was a British colony for nearly 200 years, so many middle-class Indians speak fluent English, a big advantage in today's global market. Bangalore, located in the center of the South, was the first Indian city to link up with a satellite. Now, it's wired to the world with thousands of miles of fiber optic cable. Today, Bangalore provides state-of-the-art software, cutting-edge research, and backroom business support to many of the world's biggest companies. It's a multi-billion-dollar business that's giving undreamed-of opportunities to millions of Indians.
Good afternoon, may I speak with Mr. Services?
For us Americans, the first and most apparent result has been the call centers. They employ more than 245,000 workers. For most of those workers, the first step is something called accent neutralization.
Right, class, I want you to take out your books.
Shara Huzay is a longtime teacher at 24/7.
Remember the first day I told you that the Americans flap the t sound? You know, it sounds like an almost d sound, and not keep it crisp and clear like the British. So I would not say Betsy bought a bit of better butter or insert a quarter in a meter, but they would say insert a quarter in a meter, or Betty bought a bit of better butter.
After several days in Bangalore, I'm learning that the economic boom from outsourcing is affecting young people the most. And it seems that there is a growing generation gap. This is definitely not their parents' India. You guys spend your day dealing with Americans often, and you've now got the economic independence. Has that changed the society? How has it affected people here?
Yes, we have become a lot more materialistic because we tend to spend more than what we should.
And we've become more brand conscious now since we started working.
We are changing a lot of things here and there. The ways of dressing, speaking, basically your whole thing is changing. So India is like soon going to be a mini America maybe.
As parents who grew up in a different generation, is there a shift away from the old India where it might be the educator or the guru or the spiritual leader who got the respect?
Yeah, in early days, people used to give more respect to the gurujis and teachers and all. But now, it is not like that.
Who would you say, for you, Cynthia, would be your role model? Would it be Bill Gates or the yogi?
Well, it would obviously be Bill Gates.
At first, I was surprised that even cartoon shows are being outsourced. But these days, what isn't? Welcome to the wide world of outsourcing. Everything from tax returns to credit cards, airline reservations to lost luggage, bank loans to debt collection, the analysis of x-rays and CAT scans, to the designing of video games. You know, this is like driving a Bangalore. But of course, all of this has been at the expense of some American jobs. I wondered if these up-and-coming Indians have any sympathy at all for the plight of American workers. Raj, what do you make of the noise coming out of the United States now about outsourcing? Do you find that odd, understandable?
It is very understandable for a population which is waking up to what I think is the real world. Because the world has changed around you, and there is no such thing as barriers to be built that is going to make sense in the long run.
So what is your message? Fasten your seatbelts? You ain't seen nothing yet, America?
I think my message is that what's happening now is just the tip of the iceberg.
Whoa.
And get used to it. There's a fundamental shift that is happening in the way people are going to do business and the way people are going to source talents that they need. It's just going to be one global market, and ultimately it's going to benefit everybody.
Mr. Rao's optimism was impressive, but I wanted to find out what a more established entrepreneur thought about outsourcing's impact on America. So I visited the chairman of India's second-largest IT company, Wipro. The legendary Azim Premji is the richest man in India.
Wonderful to be back.
He believes that innovation is still the key to America's future, and he cautions against protectionism.
America will continue to carry the edge on innovation. And I think American companies, to recreate a new set of jobs, will become even more innovative. But America will continue to take the lead on this.
Thank goodness. We'll still hold the lead in something. Indian companies are relied on by some of the biggest businesses in the world. not only to manage their backroom operations, but to research, develop, and design the next generation of modern technology. In fact, they have become so integral to the day-to-day operations of the global economy that they've had a significant impact on the geopolitical conflicts that have plagued South Asia for so long. Last time I was here, in 2002, India and Pakistan were once again rattling their nuclear sabers. It got so bad that the U.S. State Department issued a travel advisory.
We urge American citizens currently in India to depart the country.
Pressure from India's high-tech community on politicians helped to avert a possible war.
When you have that kind of interdependence, you can't just shut everything down for a week and go off to war. You can't afford it.
Not just because of the impact on India, because it would touch the whole world.
Oh yeah, because you're part of a global supply chain. And tapping into this global network of resources can transform the world. I truly believe that. The interdependence of all this will make the world a much safer place.
You touch on something that I've been worried about with a young Arab or young Muslim from Saudi Arabia or Egypt, who's having a much harder time being able to participate in this global system. Yeah. That's not healthy for us.
I agree with you totally. I think all these young people may be forced to choose a path of alienation, and I think it's in our collective self-interest to make the world a safer place, to make sure that every one of them is able to pursue the right positive aspirations rather than a path of alienation.
The chairman of Wipro, Azim Premji, is an Indian Muslim. He believes that expanding opportunities to Muslims in Arab countries not only makes the world safer, but also makes good business sense.
One of the things which we are doing for building business with the Middle East is we are targeting Arab citizens studying in Indian engineering colleges for recruitment to work for us as a company back in their countries.
I go to these call centers, I meet kids full of pride, dignity, and self-worth. People like that don't plow airplanes into World Trade Centers.
Fifth new form of collaboration I simply call insourcing. Insourcing is what UPS does. You know those people in the funny brown trucks and the funny brown shorts? If you think all they're doing is delivering packages, you're not paying attention. What UPS does is come right into your company, right up to your neck, right up to headquarters, and take over your entire internal logistics operation. And this is a huge flattening force because it requires a lot of standards. And they just take over the whole innards of your company. So say you have a Toshiba laptop. It breaks one day. You go to the warranty, you turn it over, it says call 1-800-HELP. You call 1-800-HELP, and the sweet Indian voice at the other end of the line says, take your Toshiba laptop to the UPS store. They'll send it to us. We'll have it back to you in 72 hours, all fixed. Here's what you don't know. Your Toshiba laptop actually goes from that UPS store to the UPS hub at Louisville Airport in Louisville, Kentucky, where in an airline hangar, a UPS employee in funny brown shorts repairs your Toshiba laptop.
I'm speaking at a conference here in Sweden, and one of the challenges facing many multinational companies is that of outsourcing, or rather offshoring. We're not just talking about outsourcing to companies within your own country, but offshoring, that is moving the jobs outside of the country to maybe somewhere like India or China. But the challenge there is wage inflation, and it's affecting companies right across the European Union big time, with up to 100% wage inflation for senior executive posts in places like Shanghai, Beijing, and 40 or 50 or 60% wage inflation similarly in places like Mumbai, Hyderabad and elsewhere. Now even at lower levels we're seeing an acute shortage of experienced managers, and we're seeing perhaps 14%, 15, 16, 17, 20% wage inflation for large numbers of middle managers handling things like call centers in places like Hyderabad. And already we're starting to see companies begin to contemplate moving out of India, which is now too expensive, to somewhere like Pakistan or perhaps even Vietnam, Bangladesh or other places. The outsourcing story, the offshoring story, therefore, is coming to an abrupt halt, or it will do, as it has been. I'm not saying that there won't be an offshoring industry in India. Of course there will be, as well as in China and other places. But the economics are changing.